Over the last week, the crypto market has been making a move that I believe is going to have a massive impact on not only just the next couple of days or weeks, but possibly the next couple months here in the crypto market. And so, as a result of this massive move that's happening, I've been keeping you all updated every single day, every step of the way on exactly what's going on with this big move, exactly what I'm doing to try to capitalize on it, and exactly what I'm planning next. And so, in today's video, we're just going to keep the ball rolling. I'm going to continue to let you know exactly how this move is playing out, what I'm doing right now, and what I'm expecting next. So if you have been enjoying these consistent updates every single step of the way, please do let us know by smashing that like button. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the move that we've been watching for the last week or so has all and everything to do with Bitcoin's price. Because remember, we are now back in the control of Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up, market goes up. Bitcoin goes down, market goes down. That's just the flow of the market right now. Okay. And so what we've been tracking is this descending channel for the Bitcoin price. About a week ago, roughly, I was going to say a couple weeks ago, but about a week ago, I told you all that whatever Bitcoin does in this channel is going to show what the rest of the market's going to do. So when Bitcoin rallies from the bottom to the top, the market pumps. When Bitcoin dumps from the top to the bottom, the market dumps. And so because of that, I told you it's extremely important to watch how this channel plays out because it'll tell us everything we need to know about the short and midterm of the crypto market. Well, over the last week, what we really focused in on was the fact that Bitcoin's price was getting very, very, shaky, right? We started to see Bitcoin fall all the way back towards $112,000. And for a second there, Bitcoin lost this descending channel. It lost support. And mind you, this is a rare thing to happen. It doesn't usually happen, but it is very possible. It's something that can happen. And I told you, if Bitcoin's price loses support here, it opens the door for a move back towards 103 $1,000. And so we needed to be watching that closely because listen, I told you this is a massive move. And if Bitcoin's price falls that hard, this market's going to fall with it. Alt's down 15, 20, 25, 30%. And that was what was on the table. That was an opportunity that was right around the corner. It was something that was possible. And so we've been keeping an eye on it. And I've told you over and over and over again, like, listen, you got to be watching this closely. If Bitcoin's price starts to fall out of here, I think we need to look for these macro support levels and look for one of them to hold Bitcoin's price up and push it back into the channel. Because if it doesn't, man, oh man, are things going to start to get ugly. But gladly, just 24 hours later, Bitcoin came down and hit one of our key zones of support that we laid out and pushed back into the descending channel. And from there, I told you exactly what to be paying attention to. I said, listen, what you need to watch now that Bitcoin is back in the channel is the next pullback. And I said this when Bitcoin's price was right here in this little green candle right here. I said, you need to watch the next pullback because it's going to tell us everything we need to know. If Bitcoin's price pulls back and it can build a higher low within this channel and start to push back to the upside, we're in a great spot. And I think Bitcoin is now recovered back in. This was just a fake out, and it continues Bitcoin on its journey through this channel that should lead it to a breakout later down the line. But if Bitcoin's price comes back down and falls below this key level of support, below $112,000, that is not good. And that opens up a door down towards $109,000. That, of course, would come with a lot of losses from the rest of the crypto market. And well, over the last 24 hours, Bitcoin has started to make that decision. And so now that you have the context of what we've been looking out for over the last couple of days, let's zoom into the modern day and see what's happening because Bitcoin has come down and it is starting to show us the decision it's trying to make. So as of the last 24 hours, Bitcoin has chosen the better route of the two options that I presented to you. And what you can see is that Bitcoin's price has come back down and it is now officially starting to try to build that short-term support on top of the descending channel, remaining within the descending channel and building the higher low as we hoped it would. Because I said, listen, it makes perfect sense for this to happen. Bitcoin's price comes back down, it pulls back towards the bottom side of the channel, it hits that bottom side golden zone, it tries to use that golden zone to bounce back up towards the top side, justifying and clarifying that this was indeed just a fake out that was used to liquidate the long traders who were over betting and over leveraged. And so what you can see is, yeah, that's what Bitcoin did, guys. I mean, as of the time I'm recording this video, Bitcoin has now officially built support on top of that key level support that we were looking for, right around $112,500, and has now used it to start trying to push up towards the upside. And I would say Bitcoin only has one step left in order to confirm that this was just a fake out and that drop down to $103,000 that we were a little concerned about is completely off the table for now, unless some crazy bad news pops up in the media circus. So what I would say, the very last step from here is simply Bitcoin just getting above this 50% line. It's not necessary. It's not 100% needed, but I definitely think it would be beneficial. Because if Bitcoin can get above this 50% line, not only has it created the higher low, it's now also created the higher high. And if Bitcoin can create the higher low and the higher high, obviously, you know that is now a micro uptrend. The uptrend has now begun. And I would say that 100% confirms that this fake out is now nothing to worry about and that the purchases that we did in here are in a great spot. Matter of fact, speaking of the purchases that we did, I actually want to show you guys something. So yesterday, over in the school, I told everyone this was yesterday at 10:42 a.m. While Bitcoin's price was right here, guys. While Bitcoin's price was right here, $112,600. Let me show you where that was. That's when Bitcoin $112,600 right here, the very bottom of that wick. Look at that screenshot, very bottom of that wick. I said I just did a heavy dollar cost average on Bitcoin with a 1% stop loss set due to the sheer size of the purchase. 1% stop loss at $111,500 gives me enough room to let Bitcoin continue to liquidate the longs without setting a new lower low. If a new lower low is set, I'll close down this purchase and save the cash for a bit later, as I would expect then that the pullback would get a little gnarly. As of now, I'm just making a small risk bet that is just a downside liquidity hunt. So what we did is we went in yesterday and did a massive purchase on Bitcoin right here at the very bottom of that move. And if Bitcoin's price can sustain this break back into the channel and start pushing upwards, guys, we're in a great spot to where not only did we scoop the lows on this portion right here, right? Because remember, on the channel, on our live stream, I bought Bitcoin live with you right here. Not only did we scoop the lows right here on that low leverage scalp trade, then we took profits right here. We would have then been able to open a massive purchase right here, a spot buy here. And now we can, of course, take profits if that price does push up. Guys, there's an opportunity that if Bitcoin's price pushes back above this 50% threshold, we've nailed this swing 2 times in a row, locking in really substantial profits in a time where most people are just losing gains, losing some of their realized gains or generating unrealized gains, right? And so because of that, we've been in a great spot with this. And I think it's extremely important that you watch extremely closely what's happening here. And if Bitcoin's price can break up towards the 50% threshold, okay? So the next step, the last step, the thing you need to be watching the most when it comes to Bitcoin specifically is whether or not it's capable of breaking above this 50% line, currently around $115,500. Because if it can do that, it's the final step of this whole process that we've been tracking for days on end here to get Bitcoin out of the territory at which a fall towards $103,000 is on the table. So this is a very fun thing to see, right? You love to see it, right? We generated some beautiful profits here. We may be generating some beautiful profits here. But at the end of the day, I understand the way this market works. And there is a chance that Bitcoin's price absolutely nukes by the time I release this video. But guess what? I have a stop loss set right here at $111,500. And if that trade just ends up getting closed out and I lose 1% on it, it's not on leverage. It's just a 1% loss. It is what it is. The upside here is that I get to swing this bad boy all the way to the top side and make some beautiful gains. The bottom side is I'll lose 1% on this small little scalp trade. Who cares? Oh, it's a big scalp trade. I'm not going to lie. But who cares? Like, this is the way that you can play this game. You don't have to always just be at the mercy of the market, waiting on the market 24/7. You can make these small pivots and changes as the market is shifting if you want to generate gains. You just have to be willing to take that risk. And that's what I was willing to do here, of course, with the trade we did back here and with the trade that we opened up yesterday. Luckily, pure luck, by the way, at the very bottom of this move. So I'll keep you updated as this all does play out. But the biggest thing to be watching out for is whether or not Bitcoin can break that 50% threshold right there, because that's going to tell us everything we need to know about if Bitcoin is officially recovering back into the descending channel for the future. Okay. So that's what we're seeing with Bitcoin. Let's shift over into the altcoin markets because Bitcoin actually breaking above this 50% threshold will have a very large impact on the altcoin market that people aren't talking about much right now. Now, before we get into that, guys, I will remind you that I will leave the link to BTCC down below. I know I'm talking about trading and stuff a good bit in today's video. If you are someone who wants to trade some Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, whatever it may be, on up to 500x leverage, which I don't recommend that high, obviously, but if you want to trade that high, you can check out the link to BTCC. It's down below. And each one of you watching this video right now is going to get up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards with my link. So feel free to check that out. Let me know what you think. But without further ado, let's push now into the altcoin market. So what we can see is that if you look at the altcoin market, okay, let's go over to total 2. Total 2 is the total market cap of the altcoin market as a whole. We have a very clear picture being painted here. It's clear as day. What happened is that the altcoin market put in what's called a double top. Okay. And a double top is a very bearish pattern. It's a very, very, very bearish thing. It's something you don't want to see, which is when you have a top, a valley, you come back down to the same top, and then you break down. And what ended up happening was that the altcoin market created this double top and started breaking towards the downside. Now, technically speaking, the breakdown target of this double top does go lower than we've gone. The breakdown target of this double top is actually way back here, right at around $1.28 trillion. But the altcoin market, as of now, is trying to battle its little heart out to not make this full completion towards the downside. It's trying its absolute best to not fall all the way down there. And in order for this to happen, in order for the altcoin market to cancel out this breakout target, for us to not be on track to come down to 1.28 trillion, the altcoin market needs to break above this golden box. And I'm actually going to go ahead and lift it a little bit higher, which does top out roughly at 1.44 trillion. If it's capable of breaking above this, it then cancels out the breakout target that was generated by this key level of support. And we've now failed to turn this support level into resistance, which is a good thing. Because if you're a bull, you don't want to see a support level get flipped to resistance, because then that'll force you downwards, right? We want to see the support level get rejected and then come back down, break back above it. Then we break above that support level and reflip it back into support, because now we have a great chance of trying to make another run to the upside, okay? And so for the altcoin market, it is actually incredibly important that Bitcoin's price is capable of breaking above this 50% threshold, because I think that's going to be what pulls the altcoin market above this golden zone and opens up the door of opportunity to the upside. So you got to watch that extremely closely as well, because these two things are going to happen probably at the same time, and it's going to give us a beautiful picture of the crypto market. Because let's say, for example, if Bitcoin's price decides to get rejected here and start absolutely nuking down, guess what? The altcoin market just got rejected as well, and it's headed to finalize this breakdown, which is going to pull alts down 10, 20, 30%. So you have to watch what Bitcoin does and how that then translates to this move for the altcoin market over on Total 2. Now, I told you what I was doing for Bitcoin, the trades that I was making. When it comes to altcoins specifically, I'm not doing as much stuff right now, just because the altcoin market does seem a little bit shaky, but I am making moves in places where I think there are higher opportunities than just on Bitcoin, right? So on Bitcoin, I know I can lock in 4, 5, 6% gains. If I up the leverage, I can get it up to like 15, 20% gains. And I think those are pretty easy to generate right now with the current moves Bitcoin's making. But if there's any altcoin opportunities where I feel like I can generate more, I am taking those opportunities, but I'm doing it very slightly. So I've not made any big moves with some of the ones that we have right now. Simple AI, I'm leaving it alone. Tars AI, I'm leaving it alone. Qubit is performing pretty dang good. This bad boy's up 52% in the last 7 days. We called this thing at about a $6.5 million market cap. It's at 11.5 million now. So we're pushing up towards a 100% gain right there. So that thing's smashing away. And I did recently on the last live stream we did, I talked to you guys a bit about Monu. This is one that I actually did commit to adding to my bag. Its price is down a little bit right now, but I do think that they are going to have some potential. One thing I told you guys on the live stream was that Monu was making a lot of noise behind the scenes in a good way. As you all know, I do run a marketing agency that manages a bunch of crypto creators. So when companies are out there and they're like networking and they're meeting people and they're trying to get their name out there, especially amongst the creator network, I have first line of sight on it. I mean, I can see it the second it enters the space. And I said, listen, Monu's doing a lot of stuff right now. They're gaining a lot of traction. They're building a whole bunch of excitement, a whole bunch of hype right now. They are spending money. They're getting their name out there. And these sorts of companies, especially the ones that are below 20 million market cap, they're the ones that can end up jumping up to 40 million, 50 million, 60 million. And so because of that, I actually was able to talk to the team a little bit, kind of see what they have going on. They have a lot of great stuff. Little did I know, they actually have partnerships with the Shiba Inu team. So they have a massive, massive amount of advisory. And I was like, you know what? Overall, I think they're very good. They did use their like partnerships with the Shiba Inu team to get listed on some really strong centralized exchanges. They actually announced that they were on Weeks earlier, I believe, if I saw that correctly. I followed them, so I should have. Yeah, that was earlier today or yesterday. Sorry, they announced that they were going live on Weeks. One thing that you can see is they also are live on KuCoin. So they have like 9 centralized exchange relationships. They did bridge over to the BSC wormhole. So there's a lot of great stuff going on over there as well. So because of that, listen, I was like, you know what? They're making a lot of noise. My company partnered up with them. We did some work with them. And I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm going to add a little bit of this to my bag, because I think there could be more opportunity here than just the 5%, 6% gainer on Bitcoin, especially as the price is pulling back a little bit. So it's obviously a little bit of a risk, but I think it can find stability and try to recover. So I did make that move, but outside of that, I haven't really done much else in my altcoin portfolio other than that. So overall, I haven't really been making any big moves. One thing that I did notice, which I found kind of weird, is that like The top 300 was down this morning, but interestingly enough, like the 800 to 900 was like substantially outperforming the rest of the market. And these are cryptos that are like 20 million, 18 million, 19 million. So it is kind of weird that on a day like today, where people don't really know how to feel about the market and a massive decision is being made with Bitcoin and the altcoin market, how like people are still sticking around with their, it's kind of smaller cryptos like Qubit, like I mentioned before. I mean, it's up 53% in 7 days. It's just trending upwards, 20% just the last one day. So it is interesting. I really don't even have an explanation for it in the slightest. It's just weird. It's just one of those weird moments here in the world of crypto that we just end up having sometimes. So overall, that's what I'm doing with alts. The majority of my attention is primarily focused on Bitcoin, though, because like I told you, I mean, we are in Bitcoin season, whether you like it or not. If you look at the altcoin season index, look at how heavily we've shifted out of it, almost completely back towards Bitcoin season. We were all the way up here in altcoin season. We're shifting all the way back down towards Bitcoin season. So Bitcoin is in control of the market. It is the very thing you need to be paying attention to. And look at that candle that's coming in right now, guys. I mean, this is just absolute madness. And hopefully it lasts. Again, by the time I upload this video, this candle might have gotten shut down or it might have continued to grow. Who knows? But we made an absolute godly purchase right here over in the, I mean, look again, like I'm not trying to flex it, but look at where we were. Bitcoin's price was right there at 112.6K, which was the very bottom of this move. We made a massive purchase here. I told him a heavy purchase, stop loss set, didn't break it, pushing back up, and we push into the black side. I'm going to take some profits off that bad boy. So it does look like we swung this perfectly. It looks like we swung this perfectly. And now Bitcoin's building into a position to where it very well might be in here for good, pushing back up towards the upside and maybe even trying to give us a breakout later down the line. So overall, this is an absolutely fantastic move for Bitcoin. This is great progress. This is great to see. And hopefully this team does continue. So of course, as you guys know, I will continue to update you as all of this does play out. But if you have been enjoying the consistent coverage of what's happening in the market, do let me know by smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.